My brothers, it's time to sit back and reflect on Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was a phenomenally fun set. Now this is my opinion, so feel free to tell me how much of a silly goose I am in the comments. But I thought it falls really nicely into the magic universe, a lot of dark fantasy aesthetic there. The problem for me was the price. The set was crazy expensive, so much premium stuff. Everybody thought they were going to be God's favorite and pull the one ring. But you know what? It was some dude from Canada. Turns out, God loves Canada more than the US. So let's talk about prices right now on TCG Player. Collector box, of course, is as much as a PS5, $500. That's ridiculous, bro. I don't care what's in the box. My own mom could be in that box, dude. I'm sorry, you're going to stay in the box, ma. Your set of 4 commander decks, about $225, which is not terrible, but it's way too pricey for this cowboy. It's about $60 per deck if you wanted them. Set boxes, on the other hand, of this base set are $160. Also not terrible. Too much for me, obviously, but not a bad price if you want to crack packs like a damn crack addict you are out there. Set boosters are cheaper than the draft booster box. It's about $533 per pack, which is not too crazy. Draft boxes are $165. This is an interesting a year out from release. That's $475 per pack. Not too terrible. A lot of value there. Anyways, man, there's some really sweet pickups from the set you should keep your eyes on, dude. It's been about a year, give or take a few weeks, so where's the value? Well, I'm here to tell you. And if you enjoy it, like and subscribe. That's the lifeblood in my veins, dude. Or you can join the Patreon, request deck tags, pick my brain if you want. I'm planning on setting up a Discord at some point so we can get those games and chats rolling. And right off the rip here, we got Toxic Deluge. It's a little under $8 for this version. I know what you're saying, dude. That's pretty pricey. I know it is. It's been reprinted a bunch of times. The Karlov Manor version is about the same price if you prefer the original art and frame. But this card used to be $20, man. But who knows? Maybe they reprint it 7 more times in the next year. Gandalf the White. 3 white for a legendary creature. Avatar Wizard. It's a 4/5 Frodo. With Flash, you may cast the legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had Flash. If a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Just under $4 for this guy. He's a buff old wizard, man. What's he hiding under those robes? Probably traps like wagon wheels, dude. This guy is in a Legends Matters deck. It's probably a little too good in there. He's both a Flash enabler and a Panharmonicon for ETBs and LTBs. Lots of value here, man. The Nazgul Battle Mace. 5 generic mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Menace, Death Touch, Annihilator 1. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, put that card onto the battlefield under your control, unless that player pays 3 life. Has equipped for 3. Very niche equipment. A little pricey at 5 mana, but is really nuts if you're cheating equip costs or mana costs. It's colorless, man. Can go on a lot of decks. The art is off-center, whatever, but it's under $4. Grima the Footman over here, 2 blue and a black for a legendary creature, human advisor. It's a 1/4. This guy cannot be blocked. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then that player puts the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of their library in a random order. This guy probably shouldn't be telling everyone he's a footman. That's creepy, dude. Holding his ball in the corner, man, hoping Saruman doesn't notice. This guy's great in theft decks that pay off casting opponent spells. It's also just good value. It's about $4. Stone Hewer Giant. This guy's a classic. 3 white creature giant warrior. It's a 4/4 with vigilance. Has 1 and a white. Tap. Search your library for an equipment card. Put that card onto the battlefield. Attach it to a creature you control. Then shuffle. This version is about $350, which is only a tad more than the regular version. You get this sweet Post Malone hairy looking dude. He's a big hairy beast just like old Nicky G and probably your dad, brother. Fantastic for your equipment decks. He can attack, then activate his ability due to the vigilance. Combat Celebrant. 2 and a red for a creature, human warrior. It's a 4/1. If this guy hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap all other creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. This guy was a $10 to $15 card for a long time. Then this reprint knocked it down to where it sits at like $350. This thing's a combo machine, man. There are a bunch of cards that combo with it. $350 is a fair price, I think. Sauron, the Dark Lord. This version specifically, 3 blue, black, and a red for a legendary creature, Avatar Horror. It's a 7/6. Has Ward, sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass Orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand, you idiot. If you do, draw 4 cards. This is a really sweet Grixis Beast. $4 right now, man. That token generation is bonkers. If you have a sack outlet, that generates immense value, brother. I really like this card. The Witch King of Angmar. Talk about flavor, dude. 3 black legendary creature, Wraith Noble. It's a 5/3 with flying. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn. The ring tempts you. Discard a card, the Witch King gains indestructible until end of turn and tap it. This is $3, man. It's a damn beast. This dissuades early attacks and is a discard outlet. Great card in a Reanimator deck. I really dig this idiot. Hey, it's springtime, man. Let's talk about the flowering of the white tree. White, legendary enchantment. Legendary creatures you control get +2/+1 and have ward 1. Non-legendary creatures you control get +1/+1. So Legends Matters decks we were talking about before hate this one simple trick. $3. It's legendary itself, gives you that pretty huge buff for your big Legends decks. And we have another Vanquisher's Banner reprint. It's a bit pricey at 5 mana, but offers pretty affordable tribal synergies or kindred synergies, you know, if you want to do that. It's under $3 right now. Then we have Taunt from the Rampart, 3 red and white for a sorcery. Gold all creatures your opponents control. Don't gold them, dude, goad them. Until your next turn, those creatures can't block. This does a lot for 5 mana. Basically makes the board a killing field, dude. Creatures they play on their turns don't count, but this can really clear the way for an alpha strike on somebody, man. Living Death, one of my all-time favorite cards. 11 printings of this thing, and it's still under $3 for the sweet Nazgul printing, man. I love this card. If you're running sacrifice outlets and you're in black, then this is an auto include. Then next up we have Asceticism, 3 green enchantment. Creatures you control have hexproof. 1 in a green, regenerate target creature. Classic enchantment, only a couple bucks. Used to be quite pricey. Going back a year, this was about $10. Excellent enchantment. Pretty much every deck wants hexproof for the commander. I'd run this with enchantment payoffs for sure. The Storm of Saruman, 4 blue for an enchantment, ward 3. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. You may choose new targets for the copy. Alright, listen, I'm not even sure where I would use this, but it's got ward 3. You know, it's a little pricey at 6 mana, but it's a neat mythic for $2. Genesis Wave is 50 damn cents. I've used this in big mana decks to just vomit out 10 permanents onto the battlefield. This has been a win condition for me in the past. Look at these beautiful elves, man. They're in the woods. They're just getting it on in the woods, dude. Then we have Treasure Nabber, another 50-cent special. Get some sweet new art. I like this better than the corny Soul Ring one. This guy looks like my cousin a little bit. Great card in a commander deck, bar none. Unless you're playing all green decks, in which case, RIP, baby. Treebeard, Gracious Host, 2 green and a white for a legendary creature Treefolk. It's a 0/5. Don't let that dissuade you. Has trample and ward 2. When this guy enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens. Whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on target halfling or tree folk. Well, guess what? This guy is a tree folk. I built a deck around this fool and I can't believe it's 50 cents. Well, I can kind of believe it is, you know. It's pretty niche, but it's still a pretty great card. Yeah, next up we got the Dreadweaver out here. 3 in a black for a legendary creature Spider Demon. It's a 3/3. Shelob, brother. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, exile it. 2 in a black, put a creature exiled with Shelob Dreadweaver into its owner's graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on her and draw a card. X, 1 in a black, put target creature card with mana value X, exiled with it onto the battlefield, tapped under your control. I really love this thing, man. Shuts down graveyard strategies, works great if you're killing your opponent's stuff, and that's central to your game plan, brother. Mirkwood Bats, 3 in a black, creature bat. It's a 2/3 with flying. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. Definitely one of my favorite cards from this set. This has become a token staple, works with treasures, has won me a few games so far. 35 cents for this bad mang. Come on, man, check this thing out. Shelob, Child of Ungoliant, 4 black and a green for a legendary creature Spider Demon. It's an 8/8 with Death Touch and Ward 2. Other spiders you control have Death Touch and Ward 2. Whenever another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a food artifact, you know, with all the rest of the food artifact text on it. 30 cents for this fool. This has an impressive stat line, the ability to fight and bite and make food tokens that are copies of the creatures that it killed. The art on this is wild too, man. One of my favorite cards. Anyways, brothers, I just want to take a look back, see what's worth looking at for this set. It's been about a year. I'm still sore I never got the Host of Mordor Commander deck. The distributor never sent the damn thing. But these boxes, at $160, $165 for the set and booster box respectively, it's not a bad price, man. This was supposed to be a premium set, straight to Modern like Modern Horizons, with a huge amount of premium cards in there. Modern Horizons 2 set boxes are $212. Booster boxes are $180, which I think is a steal even at this point. I know this may come as a surprise to some of you, but $90 in 2001 dollars is about $160 in 2024 dollars. Prices increased by 77.3% over this time period, about 23 years or so. Inflation averaging 2.52% per year. So that booster box I bought in 2001 for $90 would be about $160 in today's dollars. And I did buy an Invasion box in 2001 for like 85 plus tax. Stuff just costs more these days, I get it, but I still ain't shelling out, dude. I hope you gained some knowledge today and are so armed. Go forward in the peace and light of my love and respect, brother. Mickey G signing off.